Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Spire, and today I'm gonna go over the oscillator section, right, and also showing you some wave shapes, dried wave shapes future. So and also I'm gonna let you basically see the differences between Spire and the Access Virus TI. You will see that this synthesizer right here is very virus inspired. So we can start off. I have my initialized patch selected, and I have a sawtooth right here as a only one oscillator going on, and I'm gonna let you see that basically uh, the hold on. Yeah, okay. I have an oscilloscope right here, and yeah, now I'm gonna play you a note, and I'm gonna save you the waveform, and then I'm gonna do the same thing for the virus too, so you can really see that uh, much more similarity. So hold on. Okay, so now we can zoom in, and yeah, we can actually see that in the negative here, in the negative voltage, we can really see that for some of you guys that know about uh, Access virus, you can really see that this is basically the same, not the same, but much close waveform of the sawtooth wave from the virus. So now I'm gonna also play the virus 2, and I'm gonna save the waveform. So there we go. And I'm gonna play you the the snow. There we go. So the red line is Spire, the Spire waveform, and the yellow line is our virus. So we can hold on. You can see that basically Spire, as you can see here in the negative voltage, has more harmonics, right, in this section right here. But the virus, you see that, and yeah, the virus does not have it. It has just a little bit of imperfection here, and the difference between this and this one, right. So apparently, from the graph, we can see that the virus is more accurate and much more powerful in terms of analog sound, right? So it's more like having an oversampling, and that's because of the power of the DSP, which is built in inside of the virus machine, right? But Spire generally uses the CPU power, your computer CPU power, so to create that analog sound, the virus sound, because in my opinion it sounds more deep and very aggressive, very darker because it's so dark. But anyway, in the in the positive voltage, sorry, we can see that the virus is like it reminds me of Silent One, which goes really boom down, deep down. But the Spire in the positive voltage has more harmonics here, right? So it has more, a little bit more harmonics, and yeah. So that's why anyway the virus is a very dark synthesizer, because essentially it has some weirdo things going on in the negative voltage, so it really sounds like like this, right? You can really hear the, you see that. But if I go over Spire, there we go. So you can really compare between the two, right? Spire and the snow. you can really see how the virus sounds much more richer than actually the Spire. So here the same note between the two and the virus now. So they're both running like single oscillator. Yeah, they're both single oscillators, right? But it's here, single oscillator, no other oscillators going on, no unison, no nothing, no sub oscillators, no nothing, just pure sawtooth raw wave. And yeah, the virus sounds like it has more like an analog feel, right? No filtering going on, so just pure saw. That's why Spire sounds a little bit more digital. But anyway, generally, that's how we say that. But anyway, enough demonstrating, and I'm gonna go over Spire now. I can delete this guy. Hold on. There we go. Now I'm gonna open this thing too and say, so okay guys, now I'm gonna let you see some oscillators in Spire. So right now I'm running just one oscillator here, and the thing that you can do with Spire with the oscillator section, right? We start this sub module here, which is my waveform selector and stuff, my morphing, and I can basically have these oscillator modes. So I can have like classic mode, noise, FM, AM sync, and so pulse width modulation. So what these guys do, basically they, when I'm in classic mode, I can like select sawtooth, and I can morph between a sine wave like this. I can have a full, with this knob right here, I can morph the classic sawtooth wave into a sine wave, right? So as I increase this, it becomes more and more a sine wave, right? Right. So this is a full sine wave. I'm gonna show you. So I have my oh, there we go. So I have my sawtooth wave here. Hold on, let me zoom in. So this is a sawtooth, and now this will be a sine wave, and you can already hear that. So right, uh, there we go. So yeah, you can see that this is a whole sine wave, and if I just morph between them, I can really see that, right? So this waveform is a sawtooth mixed with a sine wave. So I can, in this method, with this method, I can really like obtain very nice and interesting results. And down here, right, I can select a bunch of different shapes like piano, bass, violin, or guitar, organ, different basically um, a bunch of other waveforms to create other interesting, very interesting results. I can, like, for example, select triangular, and this will be triangular, right? This is my triangular. And, or for example, also trisine, which is this thing right here. Maybe other, I don't know, bass. You can also see like the a preview of the waveform in this section here of Spire. So you don't really strictly have to have an oscilloscope opened, like in my case right here, which is Blue Cat's oscilloscope multi. So anyway, yeah. stuck square wave, but it has more harmonics in the positive and negative range, right? So it's not stuck digital stuck, right? Square wave. It's more like analog stuff, right? So anyway, and I can morph between them, so I can have like I don't know, right? Like to combine more interesting results, right? And so yeah, that's basically your, and you can also go crazy with morphing with other bunch of right waveform and having like more um, bassy kind of thing. So yeah, that's how your classic mode works. So now uh, after classic, you have your noise. And what noise does is basically generating some noise, right? So you can really hear, right? So this is like a low pass noise. You can barely hear that, right? This is very noisy, and you can also, hold on a second, you can have like a, it's, if I turn this up, right, you can see in this paragraph right here that it snaps into like a high pass, right? So, right, I have this. And I can also use later on some filters to obtain some nice, interesting results. And that, of course, I can also morph this um, noise waveform into a sine wave or whatever else I want to choose here. Right, so you can really like obtain some weird, weird stuff, right? Like sounds, boom, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically what noise is. And you can also have like, yeah, you control B, right? So you can really see what's going on here. Oh, well, hold on. That's basically like your amplitude thing, right? So, okay, let's move on into FM. So, basically, if you don't already know what FM is basically like an LFO running at a really, like going into the audible range, right? So, it's basically creating some very weird effects like this, you know? Turning up Control A, you really have this type of sound. So, from a sine wave, you have, right? And if we zoom into the waveform, we can see that the waveform is very, very high frequency stuff. That's because of FM, right? And if we go a little bit down, we can see a little bit more clearly, right? So we have, hold on a sec, so you can really see you know, that you get the idea, and you can still morph between them to have more like a bassy stuff. Yeah, okay. FM stands for frequency modulation, AM stands for amplitude modulation, and you can really see that I have like, right, it's keeping on changing its amplitude. It's basically like modulated, right? right? So you see that it's modulating here. It's waveform. But if I go up, I see that, right? I have different results. And it's turning more into like a square wave. And if I go 100%, right, we can really like see that it's basically like square wave. And so with pulse width modulation is basically like having a saw wave, or I think also, yeah, you have your saw wave and you can change your pulse width modulation. It kind of snaps, you know, with Control A, it kind of snaps into more. Uh, you see that you have more like a frequency stuff, but if you change your Control B, you're essentially changing your pulse width modulation. So yeah, you can really hear now. We can see that right here. You know, it's really having like more harmonics in square wave. But if I change this, right? So if I go 100% pulse width modulation, the sound will completely go away. Right? So yeah, that's your, you see here. So that's very pulse width modulated. But if I go like that, I will get like something like the opposite. You see here and here, right? So that's essentially it. The basically your um, sub module, right? Your oscillator stuff, and yeah, then going into the next sub module of oscillators, you have your unison stuff. So you can select your unison mode up to 9 voices. So for example, I go 2 voices. Like what I do with unison, I basically split the signal path, right? So I have a basic sawtooth wave like this, right? You have your basic sawtooth wave like this, and you basically split into another sawtooth, and you basically like you're detuning it, so you're basically giving it in another timing frequency, so you have very nice and interesting results. So yeah, I can you can really see that it's adding another voice, right? Uh, right? You see that? That's basically uh, what Unison does. And to make it more sound more wider, I have this wide knob here to make it sound more wide. And you can see also that as the time is changing, it's going like up and down right here, you know, and it's like modulated, right? Um, so yeah, you can see that. You can select more voices, like for example, let's go for voices, right? You can select also like some 2 octaves, so it's going like 2 octaves up or down, or even like 3 octaves. and having like kind of an 80s effect. You have your density. Let me first go to two voices. And you're detuning right here, which is making this uh, effect. So also you have your analog. ANA stands for analog, right? So you have your unison section in kind of more analog mode. You can invert it too, and you can have your key. And here you also have your pan. So it's basically panning the thing, the signal to uh, left or right. And you also have your filter routing here, which is basically routing your signal into filter 1 or filter 2 or both together. So I can basically move between the two. But I will be covering this topic in another, in the next video, because it's now we're basically moving into the filter section, which will get into the next video. All right, guys, I hope you found this video interesting. And anyway, and I invite you guys to like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Also, please donate via PayPal in order to help my channel grow, and also to bring you more stuff in order for me to buy new stuff, and yeah, like more synthesizers or other cool stuff I can show you and demonstrate. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.